Hi, so in this video we're going to have a quick look at the user search feature. So user search feature is pretty much what I use as my starting point for pretty much everything in NetTools, because you can actually search for user objects or other objects in the Active Directory, and then from there we can go on to interrogate that object a bit more with future tests or more tests within NetTools. So first entry at the top is server name. And what this enables you to do is to actually specify where the query will be sent. Now, by default, you don't actually need to specify a server, and it will use the Active Directory site topology to actually find the closest server and actually just direct the query to that. Or you can actually specify it. So if you have a slow network links, or you want to target a particular server, you can specify the server name. When you actually enter the server name, so you can just, so if we put server 2 in here, we can actually save it. So we can actually save it into the list, and then we can actually manage this list of our servers, which we've actually saved. We can obviously edit these and change them if we require. But now you've actually saved that, when you go to one of the other tests, which has got the same name for server, that server is available there as well. So it's common throughout the features. Next one is actually scope. So by default, when you actually first start NetTools, the search feature will use the global catalog, and this is so it allows you to actually do one search across the whole forest and multiple domains if you have multiple domains in your forest. Or you can actually go, I want to change my scope. Now, so in this particular environment, yep, I left server 2 in there, it doesn't exist. So in this particular environment, it's only got one domain in here, but if you had multiple domains in your forest, you would actually be able to select which domain you want to target, and that will still use the global catalog to actually do that search against that domain. Now, if you have a single domain, you're actually better off to turn off the actual global catalog feature. And the main reason for that, if we actually just search for Charlie, what we'll see is that some of these users have actually got status icons, so it tells you whether the account is disabled or whether it's locked. Now, that feature is not available if the global catalog is selected, because those attributes are not replicated to the global catalog. So turning off the global catalog gives you more functionality or easier visibility of the state of some of the users. The other thing with the option here, we have return users only. And so if I do a search here, what we can see is with it turned off, I'm getting groups, I'm getting policy objects, I'm getting organizational units. So you're getting everything. So you can see pretty much everything in the directory by this single search. And so display which you have here is that you've got a number of columns. So we've got some common fields which you use quite often for this, and we've got the object class, so it can tell you what it is straight away. And we've also got the distinguished name. So distinguished name is used quite extensively throughout NetTools, and it allows you to actually pinpoint objects and do searches specifically to it. And most of the tests will actually accept DN as one of the actual inputs to actually do a test on an object or do a search or whatever the test is trying to do. So as we can see here is I've actually got telephone number being displayed here, and that's because within here we can actually define what columns are actually displayed. So you can actually select which attributes you want to display, and that will be then displayed as a column, an additional column in the view. So telephone number is selected because I tend to use, based on telephone numbers being populated in the Active Directory, I use it as a telephone directory. So it's very easy searching. So one of the advantages of using the search option is that we can actually now do other tests or link to other tests. So if we search for Casey, and Casey Hannah in this case, we can actually do the use with, and now we can actually go and do more investigation into that account. So we can go and look at what the actual permissions are which have been assigned to that particular user, or we can actually go and see what the logon status of the user is. So when they last logged on, so if we go last log on, and we can see when this user last logged in, and when their last barred password attempt is, and if the account has been locked out, and what time that was.
Now, this environment's only got a single server, but if you had multiple DCs, you'd actually see each DC listed here with the details for each one of those servers, that user on each one of those servers, because some of these attributes are not replicated and they're unique to that server. So it allows you to see the actual details like last log on. So the other thing you can do from here, so if an account is actually locked, you can actually click the unlock, and that will do a one-click unlock of those accounts or that account. Obviously that's based on the context where you're running NetTools in has the permissions to actually do that. So if we jump back to here again, so other possible options we can look at is that we can just look at the properties of them, so we can get some details of what that account is. So in terms of its status, see what options are available for it. Or we can look at seeing the actual AD attributes, so we can actually delve in here and actually start looking at specific attributes for that user. So that's a quick tour of the search feature and the options which you can do within here. And this is a good starting point within NetTools to actually experiment and use and try a few more of the actual tests and functions.